Media.
Hi, my name is Ronnie Cruz. After almost 2 decades as a career network marketer, I realized that despite continual work on my personal and professional development, that I had hit a massive brick wall. So I took a deep and honest look at myself, top to bottom, hoping to find answers, and my search led me to one conclusion. The definitions I held of my business, of my world, of my life were the very things holding me back. If I wanted to change, if I wanted to grow beyond my current circumstances, I had to wipe the slate clean and redefine. This show is dedicated to helping you identify the belief systems, the mindsets, the very definitions that have held you back, and then help you break through those limitations to finally create the life you've been working so hard to achieve. Welcome to the Redefine Podcast. All right, welcome back to the show. Thanks for tuning in. Today, we're going to talk about a mistake you might be making with your content. Now, before I get into the main topic, I do want to let you know that I am not wearing my bracelets today for this recording. For those of you listening to the podcast version of this, I apologize for the clicking noises in the last handful of episodes. I was wearing my bracelets, my beaded bracelets, and I didn't catch the noise in time until I was editing. And by that point, I didn't want to go back and re-record. It would have taken too much time. So I do apologize if that was a little bit of a disruption with the episode. Just understand that I will no longer be wearing my bracelets moving forward, at least not for the recording sessions. Okay, so that out of the way, I want to talk about the mistake that you might be making. And it's common enough, I see it enough to, in my feeds, and I see the content creators doing this regularly enough that it bears having a conversation so that you can avoid it moving forward, right? As I said in yesterday's episode, yeah, it's a mistake, but mistakes are learning lessons so that you can improve your process and then therefore get better results. The mistake is teaching too much. Not teaching too much, but that being the only thing that you're doing with your content. I think this stems from the notion of wanting to create and share value with your content, as we all should. However, the delivery of that value really is an important consideration as well. If teaching is the only thing you do, here's the problem with that. It's just sharing information. And as I think I've talked about in past episodes, we can get information from anywhere on the internet. That's primary. So the information itself that you're sharing might be of value, but there's nothing unique about it. And when we do get information, because we have such easy access to it, it's something that we could have at our fingertips. When we get the information that we need, then we're just going to move on. Again, if there's nothing else to connect to and attach to in your content other than the information, there's nothing keeping your audience there. Now, you might be thinking, well, there's plenty of information-based accounts and profiles out there that are doing very well. For instance, I follow a handful of nature enthusiasts that share a lot of information regarding the ecosystems that they're in, like the certain plants and certain trees and certain certain wildlife, and I find that very interesting. Yes, it's very informational. However, part of delivering the information is how you do it, right? How you do it. If it's done in a interesting enough way, then that keeps me engaged and that keeps me wanting to come back for more because you deliver the information in a way that keeps me engaged, right? Another example is there's an individual. The parks. National Parks account on Instagram. They have a very, very great account. Whoever manages that account is doing a great job, because their content is very, very engaging. Yes, it's super informational, but it's how they deliver the information that really keeps me coming back for more. So that's the first consideration. Information is not. It's not that sharing information and teaching is a bad thing. It's how you show up with that information. The next thing is, again, since information is accessible to everyone at any given time, with a click of a button, then you got to give people more context, because once they get the information, they're really just going to move on, right? Like there's nothing else keeping them there. So the context that I talk about really is, well, how does that apply in your life, right? Sharing the particular lesson, yes, but how did that affect you and your journey? And that's what makes it really more relatable. Sharing, opening up with that level of vulnerability. And I'm not saying you have to give very like specifics of what's going on in your life or the things that you've been through, but just sharing that part of your journey, being willing and open enough to share enough of your journey that it gives your audience context and therefore something to connect with, right? That keeps me coming back for more. I saw George's post and he had gone through this in his life, and the principles that he's teaching helped him get through that difficult time. Man, I can relate to that, right? So that's really to me, I think the more effective way of teaching, because again, you want people to connect, you want people to be able to relate to not just to the information and the things that you're teaching, but that only happens if you're giving it context and sharing a part of your story in relation to the principles that you're sharing. This really speaks a lot to the individuals. If you're in the personal development realm and if you're in the coaching realm, this is really important, because I've seen so many people in the personal development space wanting to get themselves out online and through socials, but it's all teaching. If that's the case, then it gives people nothing to attach to. Also, if you don't have context behind it, then you're just preaching, right? Like, yeah, okay, so I'm not connecting to you because this is just information. You're telling me I need to change when I don't even know the context of what's behind it and where it's coming from, right? All right, so some things to consider. Yes, sharing value is absolutely number one when it comes to content and the substance of your content, but how you share that value is also an important consideration, because if it's just information, if it's just teaching, then it's not going to land as well. It's not going to connect as well with your audience as it would if you really paid attention to how you're delivering that value, as well as the context of the value and the information that you're sharing. Okay? All right, so that's the message for today. More from me tomorrow. So until then, be well, be safe. We'll see you in the next episode.